Blake Production.
Yo, what is poppin'? We got a Pltr breakdown here. I wanted to dive into this one a little bit because I like what I'm seeing setting up. So we had a massive run in 2020, right? And it was leading into the beginning of this year, I believe. Yeah. So we had this big bullish move, and it was like one of the momentum stocks. Like this one had nothing stopping it. So big, kind of a bull flag pattern or a bull pennant. We have this kind of triangle-ish pennant pattern, and we had a massive breakout. Everything looked great on it, right? And now what we're having is this long period of consolidation. So from the highs, which was $45 smack on, all the way to $17. That's around a 62% drawdown. So in terms of getting a stock on sale, having bought at like 17 was probably your best bet, right? 62%. If you think back to the COVID crash, a lot of the stocks crashed 60 to 75%, some even more. So whenever this happens in like a momentum name or like a strong name, you want to kind of take note of it, right? When it takes big dips. Now, I like how we're making higher lows off the bottom here. So we came all the way back down to 17. We made a higher low at $20 here. And now what I'm seeing is in between this 23.59, 25.76 range, we could be creating another higher low in this area. So we might be seeing something like this happen, where this is our higher low now. And then we're going to make ways up to this 27.50 supply zone. So we want to see that continuing to happen. Higher lows into this supply zone, because the closer we get into this range, the more likely it'll be that we're going to have another breakout. Now, we could think of this 27.50 range as there's a bunch of shares here, right? And every single time we come back up, people are taking their gains. So every time we come up to this level, we're going to run out of shares that people are either getting rid of to take the gains, right? So we're just going to get rid of the amount of shares here, get rid of the amount of shares here, and we're going to keep weakening this zone until we get that breakout. So that's what we want to see here on Pltr. So I'm thinking we still could have that sideways movement. I'm liking how we're playing it's perfectly in this range, right? So on August 12th, we had that big massive gap up day, massive volume, and we print this kind of doji candlestick. So this is the range that I think we're going to play in the next few days. It's been a solid like week and a half now in this range. I like the looks of it. We got to pay attention to this stock, because right when everybody starts to forget about it is when it's going to start making its moves. It was the talk of the town over here, right? Pltr was the talk of the town. It's going to be, $100 stock. I heard people talking about that, right? Like when everybody's talking about it, it's going to start doing stuff like this, right? It gets overhyped, overcrowded, and then we have that long period of consolidation. Now, when we look at the weekly time frame, it was about time, right? Like we were just way too extended from the 8 EMA. Like when I look at the weekly time frame here, we were 35% away from the 8 EMA, and now we're coiling. And what I see shaping up here is an inverse head and shoulders pattern on the weekly time frame. So I like to see weekly setups more than I do daily, because it takes a lot more amount of time to build up this pattern than it does on a small hourly time frame or maybe a few day time frame, right? So we have this potential inverse head and shoulders happening here on Pltr, and 27.50 is our neckline. So I like the looks of that. This is a bullish pattern, right? Because every time we break down, it's showing demand here. Look at all these wicks coming from the bottom, right? These wicks and the dojis around this level, big bullish engulfing. So I like what we're setting up. We have now regained the 8 EMA on the weekly time frame. We want to hold that for a few weeks and just slowly grind up, and then we get that big breakout. So far it's looking nice. We have this big gap here, right? This gap is something to pay attention to, because once we break that 2750 range, this gap might want to get filled, and that'll be a nice bullish technical catalyst to look forward towards, because 30 to 32 might be just a straight grind through because there's really no resistance in this area. Now when we look at the volume profile here, we're just starting to slowly get up over this point of control, which is at 2482. So 2490 is our point of control. We're slowly starting to break up over it, which is very bullish to see. And that looks like it's probably our major point of resistance right now. This is where the most people are accumulating shares, is right around this level. So if we can break up over and start to use this level as support, that's something huge that we want to pay attention to for the bulls, right? It's shaping up looking nice. That's why I thought I would take some more time to break down PLTR stock here. So now that we got this inverse head and shoulders shaping up and we're starting to make higher lows into this resistance, we want to see next this 2750 range get broken. We want to see something like this happen where we break up here and we play in this range until we get that nice move up through this gap, and then we come back to all-time highs. Now, I don't know when the time frame of this is happening, but I like the looks of it shaping up towards the end of the year, and maybe 2022 is the year for PLTR where we just see it absolutely run. Like when we look at it from this, since the IPO, right, it's taken a nice move. We could be looking at this as a nice big A, B, C pattern for now, and get that bigger move upward. So these are just some things that I'm starting to look at when I'm seeing PLTR from a technical perspective. I really don't know all the fundamental details of this stock, but from a technical perspective, we're seeing a lot of demand coming in, big spikes in volume coming in from low levels. So pay attention to that, right? Pretty soon we might see that melt up. Now that we're getting up over the weekly 8 EMA, we need to hold it and just ride the wave up. So that'll be the breakdown for PLTR. Peace.